Hey everyone, I'm Rob and welcome to the test drive. In today's video, I'm reviewing the 2020 Mini Countryman All4, and today I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know about this small four-door hatchback. But before we get into the video, I just want to remind everybody I have a GoPro Hero Session giveaway going on my other channel called The Wander Affair. It's the channel that I have with my wife. All you have to do is go onto the channel, subscribe to it, go to the giveaway video, and comment on it, and then you'll be entered to win. We're going to give it away as soon as the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, and we are so close. We're like within 50 subscribers, so make sure you do that before you do anything else. The Countryman is one of the largest mini vehicles. There's also the Clubman, which is very similar, but it actually has 6 doors instead of 4. So like in every other review, we're gonna start with the exterior of this vehicle, and I have to say, I really like the way that the Mini Countryman looks. From the front, it actually looks pretty aggressive. I love the headlights with the daytime running lamps. I think they look so good. It looks stylish and expensive, and this is definitely not a cheap vehicle. The one that I'm driving doesn't have a whole lot of options, and it stickers around $34,000. Then you have a really nice side profile. I really like these 18-inch wheels. This is part of the signature trim. So you have the classic trim being the lowest level, the signature being in the middle, and the iconic being the highest level trim. And I like that this Mini is a little bit taller. It has a little bit more ground clearance. It just looks more aggressive and beefy. It's probably the most SUV-like, in my opinion. And then from the rear, this car looks great. Now, when you get to the interior, the Mini Countryman is actually really impressive. First thing I'm impressed by is how much room you have in here. The driver and front passenger have plenty of room. It doesn't feel like the seats are too close together. The seats are actually a pretty good size. And then the back seat is pretty big as well. I'm 6 feet tall and I don't have a problem sitting behind myself. And then you also have a decent amount of trunk space. You probably couldn't fit golf clubs back there, but you could obviously fold down one of the rear seats to do that. You can fit luggage back there, groceries. I mean, overall, this is a really versatile vehicle. You have a lot of aircraft-like design elements in here as well. A lot of the buttons are actually toggle switches, the start-stop button, even all the light switches up here. Very cool. In typical Mini fashion, you have the smallest gauges possible. You also have some really cool ambient lighting, and the lights around the infotainment screen will actually change based on your climate settings. I also love that you get the dual moonroofs standard. That is so cool. It opens this vehicle up, makes it feel even bigger. It's also interesting to see how much of this interior is direct BMW components and how much is unique to Mini. And it's nice to see that a lot of it is actually unique to Mini. So it's a couple buttons, couple little things like with the infotainment that are kind of BMW-like, but a lot of this is actually unique to Mini, which is nice. Now when you get to the performance of the Mini Countryman, it's a little bit of a different story, and I'll tell you why. So when I first got behind the wheel of this car, I was wondering why it's so slow. Firstly, under the hood of this vehicle is a 1.5 liter 3-cylinder turbocharged engine putting out 134 horsepower and 162 pound-feet of torque. And that's not a lot, but it's not absolutely horrible. I mean, for a vehicle this size, a vehicle that, you know, this would probably compete with a small 4-door hatchback, I mean, it's not horrible. But this car also, for some reason that I cannot understand, weighs almost 4,600 pounds. So to put it into perspective, my 2019 440i with the all-wheel drive system weighs not even 3,900 pounds. A base model BMW X6 is comparable in weight to this Mini, which is just insane. I don't know why this car is so heavy, but it is, and that also makes it even slower. You know, despite being underpowered, it is really heavy. For a vehicle this size, it just doesn't really make sense. So when you put all that together, you get a 9.5 second 0 to 60 time, which is extremely slow. It is one of the slowest modern vehicles that I have ever driven. That said, it's not the only engine option. There is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that puts out over 200 horsepower, and then there's also an over 300 horsepower 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. So there are definitely faster, more performance-oriented versions of this car. And honestly, even though it's slow, I think that for this car, it works. You don't get in here expecting that it's going to be extremely fast, that you're going to be drag racing anyone. So I think this is fine, but it's nice to know that there are more powerful versions. You also have the typical BMW ZF-sourced 8-speed automatic. I think this car would be so much more fun with a manual transmission, especially at this power level. But I have to say that this transmission's not bad. It pretty much always knows what gear you want to be in. With only 134 horsepower, I think it's not that difficult anyways, but it's not jerky, it's a nice transmission, and when you put it in manual mode, it's actually decently responsive. It's not completely instant, but it's definitely not slow. I also like that the Countryman offers the availability of all-wheel drive. I think that is a huge game changer where a lot of smaller four-door hatchbacks don't offer that. And the one that I'm driving has the All4 all-wheel drive system. I haven't gotten to drive it in the snow or anything like that, but I would imagine it's probably good. And from a performance standpoint, it is really nice. You don't get wheel spin. I mean, it's good. The Countryman does handle well. It feels nimble, but it doesn't have the best cornering ability. You do get quite a bit of body roll, but that's to be expected. This is certainly not a performance vehicle, even though it is fun to drive. Now, I will say regarding the ride quality, it is pretty harsh. It's kind of a stiff setup. I think that the run flat tires on this vehicle definitely don't help. You do feel a lot of the bumps in the road. So if you're driving on a really rough road, which we have a lot of in the Northeast, especially around wintertime, you're gonna feel it, and you know, it's gonna be a little bit harsh. But I mean, for me, honestly, I've enjoyed driving this car. And with how well this fits everywhere, especially if you're driving in a big city, it's hard to beat it. I mean, it literally fits anywhere. There are even like parking spots that are very, very small that I wouldn't normally even try to pull into. You can fit so easily in. It's great. The Countryman comes standard with BMW's Sensatec seating surface, so it's basically a leatherette. Although it does feel really nice, it's very soft. You can upgrade to real leather for not a whole lot of money. But especially in this car, I don't feel like you need to. You also have a nice leather-wrapped steering wheel, which does feel actually really nice. Kind of reminds me of the Supra steering wheel, although it's a little bit different. Then when you get to the technology, there are a couple different options that you can get in this car. Now, the one that I'm driving has basically the standard infotainment system. It's this smaller screen. It does have the touchscreen functionality, which you get by upgrading to the signature trim, but it doesn't really give you extra features. So it's pretty basic. You don't have Apple CarPlay or anything like that. No navigation. But for not a whole lot of money, or if you just upgrade to the iconic trim, you get it automatically. There is a larger screen that does have navigation built in, and it also has Apple CarPlay. You have a nice backup camera standard, and even at the signature trim level, you do get some safety technology. It actually has a feature where it can tell if you're following the car in front of you too closely, and it will warn you. But there are more additional safety options that you can get in the Countryman. So I've really enjoyed driving the 2020 Mini Countryman. I think this is a great all-around vehicle, very versatile, fun to drive, looks good, built well. I think it's priced well, and it's a lot of fun to drive. I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any awesome upcoming reviews. I have so many more reviews in the works. I'm actually reviewing a lot of cars this week, and I have a bunch more videos of my own vehicles coming as well. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. Thanks again for taking this test drive with me, and I'll talk to you soon.